It is fantastic to be here to share a little piece of radio history. 12 new stations launched simultaneously in one day, radio's biggest ever launch. Right now, as we've been hearing this morning, radio is having a moment. Listening figures are at their highest level ever. 50 million people tuning in every week, 88% of the population. Just stop and think about that for one moment. In a world of endless media choices, radio's resilience is quite extraordinary. Digital listening is booming. Smart speakers are rocketing. You've got Gen Z choosing radio over TV, and radio continues to be the most trusted medium for news. And all of this is happening because of radio's ability to reinvigorate and to reinvent itself. Now at Global, we have taken a Heart, Capital and LBC National through DAB. We've launched brand extensions like Heart 80s and Capital Dance. Our colleagues, as we've been hearing this morning, across commercial radio have also launched new channels, and commercial radio is now outpacing the BBC in terms of capturing new audiences. This is a chart that I never tire of sharing. It must be the ads. The UK leading the way in audio innovation. Now, I've been in radio all my life. I fell in love with it listening to the late night phone-ins. For me, it was James Whale, listening to him way past my bedtime. Chris Evans on Radio 1 on a morning on my way to school. And for me, there's nothing quite like radio for the connection that it has. Radio can make you laugh, it can make you cry. You might not personally know Jamie Theakston and Amanda Holden on Heart, or Jordan, Chris and Sian on Capital, but it feels like you do. They're friends, they're part of people's lives. And if anyone heard the news from Jamie on Heart this morning, I think that was just testament to the power that radio has with audiences. But it's not just about what comes out the speakers. Radio is weaving itself deeper into hearts, minds and imaginations. We are filling stadiums with A-list music artists. We're launching podcasts that set the news agenda. We're creating innovative content that cuts through and gets attention. And at Global, with our vast outdoor advertising network, we're now supporting all of this like no one else can. This is modern British radio, big, bold and exciting. So what better way to celebrate this momentum than by launching not one, not two, but 12 brand new radio stations. Now imagine your perfect channel. What mood would it set? What would it play? Well, hopefully, whether you want to chill out, whether you want to rock out, or whether you just want to sing out loud, we've got something for you.
Heart Musicals.
This is the greatest show.
Heart Love.
Make you feel my love.
Heart Tens.
I keep dancing on my own.
Smooth 70s.
Thunder only happens when it's raining.
Smooth 80s.
You're out of touch. I'm out of touch.
Smooth Soul.
You just keep me hanging.
Radio X 90s.
Gotta roll with it. You gotta take it.
Radio X noughties.
When I let Marty Bone.
Radio X chilled.
So maybe tomorrow.
Classic FM calm. Classic FM movies. Capital anthems.
One more time. Got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate.
There's a lot of them, 12 brand new radio stations, each filling a unique niche in our listeners' lives. There truly is something for every mood, every moment, and every listener. Now, each station is available on DAB radio with Smooth 80s and Capital Anthems broadcasting nationally across the UK. And all of the others are on DAB here in London. But the future of radio is clearly digital, and it is clearly data-led, which is very much at the heart of our strategy at Global. And that's why all of these channels are also accessible via smart speakers and connected devices through Global Player. Global Player is our core strategic focus. It's our app, so it's packed full of all of the live radio, podcasts, video, but it's also our delivery product for smart speakers, for in-car listening, for smart TVs. And I'm delighted to say it is paying off the focus that we've had on it with phenomenal growth. 10 million monthly active users across connected devices, which gives you, our partners, unprecedented access to addressable connected audiences. There are presenters on some of our stations. For others, it is all about the music. But each channel is lovingly crafted by our talented teams of programmers, producers, and sound designers. Designers are human beings, not algorithms, who understand the power of radio to connect. But this launch isn't just about a load more stations, it's about reaching new audiences and forging some more unique, creatively exciting partnerships. And that's where we hope we can work more closely with you, our brilliant clients. On your way here today, you may have spotted some of the campaigns for the latest musicals being advertised on buses and the underground. Well, now you can extend their reach with precise targeting through stations like Heart Musicals, or with major releases like Gladiator 2 and Wicked just around the corner. How about building anticipation and excitement through Classic FM movies? There's a whole new universe of creative potential. So that is our story. 12 new stations. We're so proud of them. We hope you like them. It is a big new chapter in UK radio history, and people go on about the good old days for radio. These are the good old days, an incredible medium which gets better and better. We're going to get into some of the detail. Margherita.
Thank you very much, James. Thank you, James, and hello, everyone. It's a real pleasure to introduce two of our key leaders at Global who've been instrumental in bringing these 12 incredible radio stations to listeners. Sally Ardis is our Senior Managing Editor of Heart, of Smooth and of Gold, and Sally's got a wealth of experience leading branded content teams, and she is the best in the business when it comes to marrying the needs of commercial and editorial. And then we also have the fabulous Matt Deverson, who runs Radio X, managing editor of Radio X and Capital Extra. Matt's been so passionate to bring these stations, all 12 of them, to our listeners, really one of the driving forces behind seeing how far we can push the boundaries of radio. And he's also potentially hoping our best hope at Oasis tickets with Radio X. I'm just asking for some friends here in the room.
And I'll say the same thing to you, MT, that I've said to everyone else. I don't have tickets. I have no tickets to give out to anyone else, and I won't be until I have mine.
I tried for us. James, before we get into the conversation with Sally and Matt, just picking up on something you mentioned in the presentation, Global is the biggest in the commercial radio market. We are the leaders. You're adding 12 new stations. If I may be direct, that's a lot. Could we be eating into our own audiences? I mean, is there a point you get to where there is too much choice?
I don't think it is an issue, and I say that because of the experience that we've had when we have launched other brand extensions. Every time we have launched a new channel, it has added new listeners, incremental audiences, and actually it's had a halo effect on the main brand. So if I take Heart, for example, Heart is the biggest brand in commercial radio, and in the latest Radar figures, the main channel celebrated its biggest audiences ever. And at the same time, Heart Naughties and Heart Dance also got record audiences. So for me, it's about adding more flavours to the menu so that people come back for seconds and they maybe try out thirds. It's about keeping people within the family and increasing time spent listening. And I love Smooth and I love Radio X and I love all of our radio stations in equal measure. But sometimes it's about what mood you're in. And so with these new channels, whether you want to relax or whether you want to exercise, be energized, feel pumped up, or you want a bit of nostalgia, we've now got a station for you.
You mentioned we're adding quite a bit to the menu. So, Sally, in this feast that is global, can you take us through how we've added these additions to our offering? Can you give us sort of an inside view on how did it happen?
Yeah, and I think that's the most difficult thing, is choosing which ones you want to increase. So we're all, as managing editors, we all want our brands to grow, and we'll all kind of pitch for our, oh, you know, I could do with this one. And actually it was a combination, as the programmers in the room will know as well, it's always a combination of that data-led, but also the instinct that we have as programmers, wanting to know that our audiences they're understood, that we create something that is really going to connect with them for whatever mood or moment they want. You know, we heard Chris and Jordan pretending they'd been in the gym there, you know, earlier, saying that they had certain music they wanted to listen to at that time. And that's it, you know, we're complex individuals as humans. We want different things at different times. And that's something that's been really important for us when we've been creating these new opportunities. We also wanted to look at what was the most commercially viable. You know, there were some ideas that we kind of looked at and threw out because, you know, it wasn't necessarily going to be what the commercial market needed as well. I think it's also a place that we can play. So where can we be really creative? We've got a really nice combination now of that network-driven big number that we can deliver at Global, but then we've got these extensions where we can do things that are a little bit braver, a little bit different, and I think that's what's going to be really exciting, working with our clients and partners in the room as well.
And just picking out, or Matt, from the choice you've got here, I know you were part of the team that was driving this 12 into creation. 3 of them you're now overseeing on Radio X. Could you just pick one of your babies there and tell us how it came to life? You know, what was the story behind one of the brands?
Well, I mean, Radio X 90s, you know, it's all a matter of timing. So Radio X 90s, that was, you know, I called Liam, I called Noel and said, now's the time. So we made that happen, so that was easy. And then Radio X Chilled is a bit of an example of where there's a gut instinct of an idea. And you kind of go, I think that the other side of what Radio X is about kind of the thrashing guitars, there is another more mellow side. So that started off as a playlist in Global Player. And the numbers told us that was quickly becoming one of our most successful playlists. So then that moved to a Sunday night show in which the reach and the share and the hours all doubled, you know, pretty quickly. And then we had that period of national mourning where, you know, all radio stations had to mellow out a fair bit. There was overwhelming positive feedback to Radio X that our audience really, really liked the music we were putting out there during this time. So it's kind of like, do you know what? There's a real hunger for this. There's a real audience need state that wants this element of what Radio X does. So that show was then put out across 10 p.m. Sunday to Thursday. Again, Radar was, you know, doubled. You know, reach and share hours all doubled across those shows. So it was a kind of a matter of, okay, can we then turn this into a 24/7 offering? So it's there the whole time as a radio station, making sure there's enough songs, making sure that the songs are right, making sure that the production can be as warm as a presenter-led station. So, and then we have a radio station now to offer that, and we simulcast the live shows from Radio X onto the Radio X Chilled, and it's a product I'm very, very proud of.
And James, just hearing Sally and Matt speak, what they're talking about is real curation, it's crafting, it's gut instinct, as well as looking at all the data. It's a very human process to bring these stations to life. And yet, simultaneously, we have this conversation about AI at this moment in time. The session before is discussing AI. Where's Global on AI?
Well, we love tech at Global and look at what digital has allowed this industry to become. And as we just heard, AI is already at work, whether it's improving ad targeting, whether it's transcribing interviews like at a pace that no human could. But it's you know, radio is not just about picking a song. It's not just about giving out information. It's what everybody has been discussing this morning. It's that human connection. It's the emotional connection. And I don't know if have you tried to have a conversation with Siri? It's not particularly deep or meaningful. And I think radio is different. It is what I said earlier. It can make you laugh. It can make you cry. It's a companion. It is a friend. It is inherently human. And for all of the qualifications of AI and the qualities of AI, it's not human.
So using the best of both worlds, sort of creating a partnership using a bit of everything.
I think that's right.
And actually, if talking about partnerships, in the room today we have clients and agencies. Sally, what partnerships would you like to see from the commercial world with these brand new radio stations? How do you see them sort of working together?
Oh, it's a little bit how the Capital Breakfast team talked about it. We like to think of our commercial partners as the enabler for big ideas. So everything that we want to come up with, we want to supersize it and make it bigger and better with the clients that we work with. And you know that is my history at Global. I headed up branded content for 10 years, so it's something I'm very passionate about, and how we fully integrate everything into our offering. And these brand extensions just give an extra opportunity for doing that. So as I mentioned, we can still give that really big scale with the network, so you're going to get the big numbers. But then we've actually got a couple of live briefs that we're talking about for Mean Girls, the musical. Obviously, we can have a lot of fun with that on Heart Musicals. But then also the new TV adaptation that Disney are doing for Rivals, the Jilly Cooper novel that's fully rooted in the 80s. So again, we'll do the scale for that on Heart, but then also with our 80s products, we can really take people back into that nostalgia and how they want to work. So yeah, we feel that commercial partnerships, as I mentioned, are a really important part of the way that we chose the stations and how we can work with our really trusted partners to integrate those ideas into the stations.
And Matt, just adding on what Sally says, I know as a broadcaster, when you have a really good commercial match, you can feel the listener feels they're getting more, and it just feels so right. What else do you think is adding to the success of commercial radio at this moment in time? Because audiences are really choosing us, the audiences are surging. So what are the ingredients that are really making that difference?
I think it comes down to clarity of product. You know, I think when an audience chooses to tune in to any radio station, a commercial radio station, they know exactly what they're going to get. So let's take Radio X, you know you're going to get, unashamedly, it's going to be rock and indie. You're going to get stadium-filling bands. You're going to get Oasis. You're going to get Foo Fighters. You're going to get Arctic Monkeys. And there's no shame about what we're offering. There's no sense of being too cool to offer that. And I think that, you know, where commercial brands sit is they are fans of music, and they are also balancing that with being authorities in music. So, there is no, Oasis B-side followed by a 16th century monk chorus that you might get on the BBC. We are talking commercially viable music. And if you look, what that achieves, if you look at that Oasis reunion moment a couple of weeks ago, at that 8 a.m. moment, Radio X's connected listening went up 80%. That, I think, just shows you that an audience knows exactly where they're going to get an update on Oasis, and it is Radio X. So I think that means that there's a trust in these brands, and there's a trust in the authority that they get. And also from a commercial aspect as well, it means that when we work with commercial partners, for audiences, it's a turn on to listen to branded content partnerships that are for them. They know that actually I'm probably going to be offered something here as a consumer that I probably am going to buy. So whether that's a Radio X beer, I'm into that. Whether it is automotive company like Motors sponsoring Chris Moyles on tour in a tour bus going around the country delivering tech prizes, I'm into that. I want that. That is why you're going to a brand and you know exactly what you're going to get, and you're going to trust that completely.
I'm just very conscious of time. James, we've rightly talked about radio with the launch of these 12 new incredible stations. Can we also just touch on, before we run out of time, our podcast offering, because we've really been growing that at Global. Where do you see that sitting in everything we're doing in the audio space?
It's a really exciting part of what we do now. I mean, podcasting is 6% of the audio market. Radio is 70%. But it is growing, and it's growing. And as we heard from the session earlier, podcasts allow you to go much deeper. You can do sort of niche stuff, but also you can do some really high impact things as well with talent, with presenters, with advertisers as well. I'm just thinking about The News Agents, which is a podcast we launched with Emily Maitlis, John Sopel, and Lewis Goodall a couple of years ago now, and that has just gone gangbusters. Massive audiences and a huge commercial success story as well. And actually right now what we're doing is looking at what we can do with the news agents to build it out as a brand. We've just launched the sports agents with Gabby Logan and Mark Chapman. Again, that's got off to a fantastic start. We're building out the brand as a digital product as well. We're actually about to take the news agents on tour as well. Also, we're going to do a live show with Emily, John, and Lewis. We are.
Is this public?
I think the contracts are signed. I hope so. I've said it.
Okay. Have we made that public yet? Is it an exclusive in the room for us right now?
It might not have been made public.
Okay.
The news agents tour, we're going to start it here in London. We're going to start it at the Royal Albert Hall in December, and then we're going to take it around the country. And I don't know if anybody listens to the news agents, but brilliant insight. The knowledge on that podcast is quite something. But it's also good fun as well. There's a lot of laughter. And so, it's not only a podcast, it's going to be an experience. But it's a big part of the strategy in radio, in podcasts, in live events. The job is to be where audiences are.
So 12 new radio stations, news agents on tour. Anything else we can get out of you today?
No.
Okay.
I think 12
Any
new
more?
radio stations, at the minute, that is what we are focusing on. I mean, the job now to make them work, to provide them with lots of love and affection and see them grow and to take their first steps. But we are really confident about their future. There's a never-ending search for the next thing. There's always something brewing, but I'll let you know first.
Thank you. Well, to sum up, we know we're not getting any Oasis tickets, not yet.
Not
maybe?
before I do.
Definitely. News agents on tour, and we are.
I hope so.
We are looking to work with great, bold, creative partners and clients for these wonderful new brands. Thank you so much for being here today. And would you please, folks, join me in giving up their time in a very busy time, launching these stations and just making a moment of radio history. James Rear, Sally Ardis, and the fabulous Matt Deverson.